Detective Mark Hanlon had seen plenty in his 17 years on the force. Bodies in alleys, drug houses soaked in blood, even a father who burned his own home with the family inside. But when he thought back later, when he tried to explain why Whitaker Street stayed with him, the only words he ever found were, "It felt wrong before we even opened the door." It was a Tuesday night in spring, quiet, the kind of night when even the city dog slept. The call came from a woman 2 doors down from 214 Whitaker. She told dispatch she'd heard screams, like a child, but muffled. She sounded terrified, almost embarrassed, as if she'd waited too long before calling. The house itself looked abandoned. A sagging roof, paint stripped away in long gray flakes, weeds cracking the pavement of the drive. The mailbox spilled yellowed flyers, but the curtains were drawn tight, and a faint light glowed behind them. Hanlon went in with his partner, Detective Ruiz, and 2 uniforms. He remembered the metallic taste in the air, sharp as a cut tongue. "Owner's a photographer," Ruiz said as they walked up the path. "Howard Kern, no priors, no warrants. Lived here 15 years, works freelance. Family says he keeps to himself." Hanlon pressed his ear against the door. Silence. Not the silence of an empty home, but the charged kind, like someone holding their breath on the other side. The door wasn't locked. The smell hit first. Rotting food, damp carpet, mildew. And under it all, that copper edge. Blood. The living room was bare except for a tripod in the corner, camera still mounted, its lens pointed at the door like it had been waiting for them. A stained couch sagged against the wall. On the coffee table lay a single Polaroid, face down. Hanlon flipped it. A woman stared back, her eyes swollen from crying, duct tape across her mouth, wrists bound to a chair. The fear in her face was so raw, Hanlon's fingers almost trembled. Ruiz swore softly. They split up. The uniforms went upstairs. Hanlon headed for the back where the smell thickened. There he found a locked door leading down. The wood around the knob was gouged with frantic scratches, as if someone had clawed desperately to get out. "Basement," Hanlon muttered. Ruiz nodded. Together, they forced it open. The basement steps groaned under their weight. A single naked bulb swung overhead, throwing shadows that seemed to flinch at every movement. At first glance, the space looked like a studio. Flood lamps stood in the corners. A white canvas backdrop hung against the far wall, faintly stained with something brown. Coiled cables snaked across the floor. Then Hanlon saw the photographs. Polaroids. Hundreds of them. Tacked neatly, edge to edge, covering every wall. Men, women, children, all bound to the same chair. Some were screaming, some gagged, some had their eyes closed like they couldn't bear to look. The terror in their faces was the same as the woman's upstairs. Hanlon's throat went dry. Jesus Christ. Ruiz moved slowly along the wall, flashlight trembling in his hand. This is... God. There must be 50. Maybe more. The uniforms joined them, one gagging behind his hand. Hanlon turned toward the far wall. That was when he saw it. One photo was fresher than the rest, the edges still curling from development. It showed 4 men entering a house, 2 detectives, 2 uniforms, them, taken tonight, taken moments ago. Hanlon felt his blood freeze. The angle of the shot was from the living room, which meant someone had been there, watching, photographing, while they searched the house. "Where the hell is he?" Ruiz hissed, gun drawn. Hanlon grabbed his radio. "Dispatch, this is Hanlon. Code red 214 Whitaker. Suspect inside. Possible victims. Need backup immediately." The radio spat static. Nothing else. He tried again. Dead. Cut off. One of the uniforms smashed open a padlocked side door. Inside were shelves stacked with boxes. Ruiz yanked one down. Polaroids. Another box. Videotapes. Another. Jewelry, wallets, children's shoes, trophies. Kern hadn't killed once. He'd done it for decades. The basement door slammed above them. The bulb flickered. Every man froze. Ruiz barked, "Police, show yourself!" Silence. Then the faint click of machinery. A soft whir. Hanlon turned. A camera mounted above the wall of Polaroids. Red light blinking. Recording. "He's filming us," Hanlon whispered. The uniforms charged the stairs, ramming the door. Reinforced. Solid. They weren't getting out. Footsteps creaked across the floorboards above them. Slow. Steady. Then a voice. Calm. Even. Almost cheerful. "You shouldn't have come here." Howard Kern. He never shouted. He spoke like he was holding court. "I don't pick them at random. They come to me. They sit in the chair. They all sit in the chair." Hanlon barked back. "It's over, Kern. We've got enough to bury you alive." A chuckle drifted down the stairs. "Detective, life is short. Pictures last forever." Cameras whirred. Shutters snapped. Somewhere hidden, lenses drank them in. The uniforms slammed the door again, shouting into radios. No signal, no backup. Hanlon's eyes drifted to the center of the basement. The chair, metal, bolted to the concrete, armrests stained dark. Beside it sat a Polaroid camera, film loaded, waiting. Hanlon's stomach sank. They weren't just witnesses, they were the next subjects. The footsteps upstairs faded. The door never opened again. Minutes crawled into hours. No sounds but their own breathing, the hum of the bulb, the faint mechanical clicks of cameras they couldn't see. By the time backup arrived, 40 minutes later, the house was silent. Officers battered down the door. The basement was empty. No Hanlon, no Ruiz, no uniforms, only the chair, and the walls of Polaroids. But now there were 4 new ones pinned among them. Each showed a man bound to the chair, faces twisted in terror, eyes begging for mercy. Hanlon, Ruiz, the uniforms. The last photo captured all 4 together, the angle from the shadows, Kern himself behind the lens. The case consumed the department. The boxes of evidence filled 3 vans. Thousands of photographs. Dozens of tapes. But Howard Kern was never found. The house was demolished in 1992, the ground paved over, a strip mall raised in its place. But even years later, the men who searched that basement swore they could still hear it, the faint click of a shutter in the dark. And sometimes officers reported something stranger. A Polaroid taped to their car windshield, a Polaroid of them, sleeping,